You're listening to the Good Food CFO Podcast, where we focus on financial strategies for building a profitable food business. I'm your host, Sarah Delavan. Last episode, I shared how I learned about Profit First, my experience in the Profit First certification process, and I answered the big question, will Profit First work for your good food business? This week, I am breaking down the steps that you can take to start implementing Profit First in your business. I'm answering a few questions about how Profit First differs for food businesses and some frequently asked questions. And I'll be sharing one common mistake that many business owners make when implementing this strategy so that you can avoid it and be successful. This episode is full of information, so let's get to it. As I mentioned in the last episode, Profit First is a cash flow management system that supports prioritizing financial sustainability and paying yourself. It's essentially a tool or a tactic for helping you to implement a financial strategy that will lead to financial sustainability and profitability. I'm a fan and I'm a big proponent of the strategy because it has proven to be a valuable extension to the work that I do with my clients and my program members. But for good food and beverage businesses, this is not an off-the-shelf solution, and in my opinion, needs some tweaking and customizing to truly work and have an impact. I want to talk about what Profit First can do. It can help with the implementation of your financial strategy. So, how many of you listening have created a budget, a financial model, a projection, or a plan, and after a few weeks or months, the whole thing is out the window because you didn't stick to it, right? It was sort of out of sight, out of mind, things got busy. It is totally normal, and it is so common for this to happen because frankly, it's human nature. Many of us, including me, need some guidelines, some reminders, right? In order to stick to our spending goals and plans. Profit First is a strategy that can provide that for us. Profit First can also help to normalize cash flow. So rather than having peaks and valleys of cash in your cash accounts, and rather than getting caught up in what I call the debt cycle, where you pay off a bunch of debt with the cash on hand, only to run short on cash a few weeks or a few months later, requiring you then to rely on credit to run your business and keep moving, the cash flow strategy of Profit First helps to bring consistency to your cash flow. It can also help you to understand how and where you are spending money in your business. A program member recently shared with me that she has been waiting a day or two to make purchases that previously she would have quickly made and charged to her credit card. She's learning that in reality, she doesn't need these items right now, so she can wait and probably use cash when she actually does need to buy the item. These little moments and changes in your spending habits can actually add up to big effects on your bottom line without hurting the quality of your products and your services. Profit First will not make you a financially sustainable business overnight, and it will not have you operating as a cash-based business overnight. To get to the point of implementing the Profit First system in your business, you need to first understand where your business is financially right now. Then you need to understand and identify where do you need or want to be financially, and by when do you need or want to get there. With those two pieces of information, the where you are now and the where you want to be, you can create a clear plan for achieving those goals. We call it a rollout plan. And you can also identify the strategies that are going to be key to implement in your business to make those goals a reality. Once you've got all of that in your sights, you can begin implementing Profit First cash flow strategies to assist you in becoming financially sustainable, profitable, and eventually cash-based. I want to dig into these steps with you. So step number one is understanding where your business is financially right now. And we do that through what we call a profit assessment. Now, Profit First offers a profit assessment structure, but for food businesses, it's gonna look different. Primarily, a big difference is a category that they use called materials and subs. It stands for materials and subcontractors. And the items that are included in the materials category, according to Profit First, must equate to 25% or more of your top line revenue value. A great example of this is a home builder, right? Wood and nails, right? Those are going to be some of the materials that are going to fall into this materials category. You literally can't build a house without it, and they make up a big, portion of your expenses. Subcontractors will be anyone that the builder, right, that core business hires to complete part of the project, right? Something that they aren't masters at. And so without hiring those subcontractors, they couldn't possibly finish the home, right? For food businesses, I don't want to eliminate any of the ingredients, packaging, or associated costs with producing and delivering your products. So we've gotten rid of the materials and subs category, and we are focusing on cost of goods sold. And specifically, we're going to be looking at your ingredient and packaging costs. We're going to be looking at your production labor or your co-packer costs, and all of the other costs of goods sold that are associated with producing and delivering your product or service to your customer. And that's going to include things like merchant fees, seller fees, market fees, shipping costs, etc. These costs are all variable and are all affected by how much product you produce and sell. So we want to get a very, very clear picture of what these are for your business and how they are affecting your profitability. We also look at your operating expenses, your current owner's pay, your business tax savings, if you've got it, and any profit savings that you may have in your business right now. All of this information put together helps us to get a clear picture of your business profitability, not just your operational profitability. The assessment helps you to see your business finances in a whole new way and identify what's working, what's not, and exactly where to focus your attention to improve your financial outcomes. Once you've completed your assessment, it is easy to see what the right financial goals are for your business, or what we like to call your financial success formula. At this stage, you're literally going to be answering the questions: what cost of goods sold percentage is going to help me maximize my gross profits, or as they call it in the book, your real revenue? And what percentage of your real revenue do you want to be able to set aside as profit? What owner's pay percentage will help you reach your salary goal? What tax savings percentage will cover your quarterly or annual tax payments? And what operating cost percentage is going to help you achieve financial sustainability? These are your targets. And when you're clear on your targets, you can create a plan for getting there from where you are right now. And that's where step 3 comes in, which is creating your rollout plan for achieving these goals. Financial sustainability comes by making incremental, meaningful changes to reach your targets in the time frame that is right for you. So now that you've got your goals in sight, what time frame do you need to achieve them in, or want to achieve them in? Is this an emergency financial situation, or do you have some time to make these changes? Once you identify the time frame, you can see how your targets will change between now and reaching your goals. For example, if you're not currently paying yourself, your allocation to owner's pay is 0%. If you've set a goal of allocating 40% of your real revenue to owner's pay within 12 months, the breakdown of that goal is going to look like a 10% allocation increase each quarter from now until the end of the year. So for example, at the end of quarter 1, you'll begin allocating 10% of real revenue to owner's pay. At the end of quarter 2, the total allocation will be 20%, and so on and so forth. When you know where you are now and where you need or want to be, and you've got incremental goals or targets visible for you all along the way, it becomes clear where within your business you should focus your attention, and you can start to develop the strategies that you'll implement to reach your goals. Now, you want to take implementation step by step and focus on where you can have the most financial impact or what needs to change most in order to get you moving toward your financial goals. Now, I want you to remember that it is extremely rare that the answer to your financial sustainability problems is to just sell more. You may need to increase your sales, but I want you to also look at what you can do inside your business, the things that you have control over, to improve your financial situation and improve your financial efficiencies. Inside our profit assessment online course and CFO assessment service, we've got a rollout calculator and a strategy finder to help you create your rollout plan and identify the key strategies to implement within your business. It is super helpful. When your rollout plan is created and your key strategies are identified, it is time to open your Profit First bank accounts and make your first allocations. Now, everyone listening is going to have one income account. This is where all of the money comes into in your bank. And from this account, you will make your regular allocations into your spending accounts or your savings accounts. Now, those are going to be your profit account, your owner's pay account, your business tax savings account, and your operating expense account. Now, I also highly recommend that food and beverage business owners create a COGS account. Now, this is not something that is mentioned in the book, but if you own a business that makes or purchases inventory in large quantities, you know that this takes significant funds. So setting this money aside can help you to save up for future product runs. You may even want to break out ingredients and packaging into its own separate account. Now, it is best to start simple and start with the fewest number of accounts possible to get a hang of the strategy, and then you can add additional accounts as you go. But I do think that having these 1 to 2 additional COGS accounts is really beneficial for carving out money for those future product runs or inventory purchases that are often really big hits to your cash flow. Now I want to dive into some frequently asked questions, and I want to start with a question very much related to this COGS account that I was just mentioning. The most recent version of this question that I received read like this: how in the Profit First model do you plan for new product launches and pay upfront for this product when cash flow is minimal and knowing that the new product won't generate revenue for several months? Do you have to be solidly in the black before taking on the Profit First model? I love this question. I think it's such a great question. And the very first thing I want to say is that I want you to remember that reaching financial sustainability is a process. And because you've implemented Profit First in your business, it does not mean that suddenly you have all the money you need to operate your business. So if you don't have the cash in your business to do a new product run, fund it some other way and create a goal of structuring your financials so that in the future you do have the cash, or you at least have a portion of the cash to cover the cost and not have to completely rely on credit cards or investments or loans. A few clients right now are tucking away cash each month to be able to pay for their next inventory run. Others are using credit or using investment of some sort to do their product run right now, and they've developed a cash strategy to pay back that debt and tuck away cash to cover all or at least a more significant portion of their next product run. To answer the question, do you need to be profitable before you implement Profit First? The answer is no. Again, this is a tool to help you become profitable. What you do need to do is have an open mind and be able to look at your business financials critically. Sometimes there simply is not enough money in the business to cover all of your expenses. That's the reality of the majority of businesses that are not yet financially sustainable. So getting clear on where you are right now and where you need to be, both from a cost and a revenue standpoint, allows you to create the right plan and implement the right strategies to get you there. And Profit First is a tool that you can use to support these efforts. The next question I want to touch on is, should I grow first and then focus on financial sustainability and profitability? The simple answer is no. You have got to build a financially sustainable business from the inside out. And once that's done, growing will produce more profits. But if you have not yet done that work, achieving more sales can actually equal bigger losses. I see this happen often, and I saw this happen in my own food business. I'm thinking now of a quite extreme example of this where a business owner did a Facebook promotion and her online sales soared to over $50,000 in a single month. That same month, she experienced more than $30,000 in losses because her business was not structured to support those sales and because she hadn't done the work to understand what shipping offer was the right one for her business and what discount level was the right one for her business. A less extreme version of this is something that we see all of the time, where businesses are slowly and steadily growing their revenue, but their profits are either stagnant or declining. And in fact, I share a few examples of this in the Profit Assessment online course to illustrate the importance of building a financially efficient business from the inside out before focusing on sales. I want business owners to stop believing that losing money is just how it is when you're a young business and that more sales will solve that problem. Working through the 4 steps that I just outlined a couple moments ago and implementing Profit First, if it's a good fit for you and your business, will help you to build a financially efficient business that ensures as your sales grow, your profits will too. Another question I get often is, cutting costs is going to negatively affect my product quality and my service quality. So how could I possibly implement this strategy? And I want to remind you that the goal is not to cut costs for the sake of profits, right? One of the reasons that the profit assessment is so critical to the process of building a financially sustainable business is because it helps you to get clear on where you're overspending or not spending efficiently and presents possible ways for you to start cutting back, reducing, or modifying your spending to reach your goals. Once you've identified this, take your time and implement small but meaningful changes that will allow you to maintain your quality while moving toward your financial goals. Now, I have for you what I think is an amazing example of this. So I work with a business that had labor costs that were really high. And through the assessment process, it became clear that this was the one big area that they needed to cut costs. But the answer was not to let go of employees or start cutting their hours down in order to immediately hit the targets that we needed to hit. That would very clearly hurt the team. It would hurt the product and the service that they provided to their customers, right? And we don't want that. Instead, we took a look at why their costs might be so high. And what we found was that their menu was extremely complex. And despite their best efforts to have everything prepped and ready for service, they were often having to prep on the spot after a customer had placed their order. So this resulted in needing additional team members on the floor during service while others were prepping and preparing their items. This had a big impact on labor costs per hour. So what we did was reviewed the menu and streamlined it. We removed some items and we ensured that the prep could all be done beforehand, which resulted in less staff needed for prep and less staff needed on the floor during service. So this lowered labor costs and it also created a happier staff because they were far less stressed on the job. This process took a couple of weeks, from hypothesis to investigation to research and finally implementation, but it's totally worth it because they achieved their cost targets without sacrificing any part of their business, and they achieved improved efficiencies in their processes and have happier team members. Another common question I get is, can I still use credit cards, take on investment, or consider a loan if I've implemented Profit First? In my professional opinion, yes. If you are someone who loves credit card points and wants to pay your operating costs with your credit card and pay that card off every month, do it. If you've built a financially efficient business and you can see exactly where and how investment or loan money is going to help you grow your top and bottom line, do it. Profit First is a framework and a cash management system. When you know your numbers and you're informed about the financial decisions that you're making, you can do whatever you think is right for you and your business. What I don't recommend is seeking a loan, a line of credit, or funding for a business that is not set up for financial sustainability, where you don't know the exact impact and the outcomes of utilizing those funds or how you're going to pay them back. The last question on the list for today is, opening multiple bank accounts seems expensive. Do I actually need to do this? My answer is that I highly recommend it. As I detailed in the last episode, I'm a very organized financial person, right? And the simple act of separating my cash into individual bank accounts helped me to see my money in a whole new way. I could see that I could pay myself more. I could see that we could hire an additional team member in the very near future, and that investments in support for social media and copywriting for the website would be a reality very soon, even though the account balances matched my spreadsheet exactly. I've personally got my account set up with Wells Fargo and American Express, and I manage my allocations in a way that helps me to avoid any fees. Some of our clients and our program members use a variety of banks, some that have no account fees at all. So we've got a recommended list of banks and Profit First friendly bookkeepers for all of our clients and anyone inside of our group coaching program. If you've got questions about the steps that you can take toward financial sustainability and profitability in your business or implementing Profit First, join us on Tuesday, August 3rd at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time inside the free Profitable Food Business community. I'm hosting a live Q&A session on this very topic, and I would love to see you there. You can RSVP via the link in the bio or visit thegoodfoodcfo.com and click on the free resources link in the main menu. I'll leave you with 3 final tips for a successful Profit First implementation. Number 1 is remember, this strategy provides guidelines. There are no hard and fast rules. Profit First is a framework that you can customize to meet the specific needs of your business. Number 2, remember that this is all about small, incremental, and meaningful change to create long-term financial success. So start slow. And number 3, find an accountability partner or a group that will help you to be successful. You may have a bookkeeper, an accountant, a consultant, a coach, or a fellow business owner. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. I'll be back with a brand new episode in 2 weeks.